Okay, we had some nice rains come through last night. We'll take the moisture. We're starting to run a little bit behind, but not nearly as far behind as we were in the spring. So we had 95-degree temperatures in the forecast today and a big rain last night. It'll feel like the Delta and Mississippi are points farther south. As we awaken today, I think what we're seeing is what we had yesterday. We had a self-failure to take out the 2024 area. The overnight session high was 24. So we've got resistance at 24 to 28. And our first sell is going to be 23 to 27. The news today is jobless claims, 305. And natural gas inventories at plus 89 BCF. The only ones that will pay any attention to that will be the natural gas traders. And then we have Draghi's comments at 8:30 Eastern. And I don't see that Draghi can say anything that will really move the markets this morning, but you never know. The Russian sanctions are against the countries that have sanctioned Russia. They're banning all foodstuff imports. And pretty much that's fairly symbolic, not much more than that. It won't hurt anybody. It'll upset those that have orders in the pipeline, and we're counting on current sales, but you can generally move food pretty easily around the globe. I don't know what to make of the Ebola commentary. You see there's the historical articles out there with headlines like death toll goes exponential. I still think they're talking about less than 1,000 deaths, but the allowing it, I mean, back in the old days, you'd have shut the borders with those countries. No one would have been allowed to come out. So we will see how that develops. It would be a strange disease to invite to your own shores, for sure. So right now, I just see resistance here. No news to drive today's trading, and we've got support in this area. I think we've just got ourselves a trading range day when it's all said and done. So we'll leave it at that, and we'll come back and pick it up. I think today's focus has got to be the direction of the E-mini. If it doesn't break early in the session, my guess is the E-mini will be probing and testing resistance above 1925. Best resistance in that contract is north of 1930. Okay, the knob spread widened overnight, back over 13. That shows the fundamental player. Given his take on the market is still bullish on interest rates. It's a defensive position. It's not, I don't think it's a position that's taken out of love for the market or anything like that. It's just that they see there's a lot that could go wrong. Economically, German industrial production missed big time. It was up 0.3. They were looking for something north of 1. Australian unemployment was a huge miss, biggest miss that they've had since I forget which year. So the economic news around the globe continues to show economic softening, and that would support the knob spread. And then you add the chance for war or sovereign debt failure or major bank failure, and it's another reason to buy it. So I don't think anybody's going to abandon the long side of the financials anytime soon because of the high potential of overnight surprises. Okay, resistance is basically the buck. So I mean, our first sell is going to be 31 to 03, and then our second sell is going to be 7 to 11. On the buy side, we'll make it, may have to pay up 21s, that's the bottom of value, but we'll get started at 13 to 17. And we'll put a question mark at 21. I think we might be able to do a little better. We get some help from knob spread profit taking, and buy 2 will be 5 to 9. And the key motivator, and that'll probably set the day's direction, again, will be the E-mini. In my most humble opinion, of course. Taking a look at gold, we have a seller in this 10 area. We wanted to sell 10s to 12s last night, and in 15s to 17s. And you can see when you got your tractor down here at 93. That's the draw. We've got our breakout at 93. So last rotate down stopped at 98. So yesterday we left the market wanting to buy. If I put that, the 3 to 5 area, and then basically the buck, and the overnight session low was 3 to 5, and our sell was 10 to 12, and that seems reasonable this morning. Won't change it, so we did a pretty good job for our London-based clientele. Some great opportunities living in London, the world's second biggest money center. And if our country keeps doing what they're doing, probably soon to be the first market center around the globe. You know, when we all look back, and it's not that you acquiesce or do anything, if you're on the productive side of the economy, politics really don't interest you. Now, I mean, my mother used to tell me, you know what the definition of an idiot is, Charles? And I'd say no, and she says, somebody that's politically unaware, because I really wasn't, I really didn't care. But as you grow older, you pay more attention, and you see things that are really out of whack with the values that you were raised with, you start to pay more attention. So I'm less of an idiot, so to speak, given time. And but the things that are going on in the world, fundamentals, values that have been in place for centuries are being challenged right and left daily. And if you look at the solutions proposed by governments, they defy economic law. And you can hold economic law in abeyance for a while. I mean, even when you go into bankruptcy, the day of reckoning, depending on how full your court system is, can be a couple, 3, 5 years out. But you can't overcome that law. And so this borrowing money does not create wealth. Increased productivity creates wealth. And so the world's major economies are borrowing money, and it makes you pretty uncomfortable if you have any historical perspective. Now, we've gone from debt of 60% GDP to over 100% now in 6 short years. Talk about a pig in the python. And that money has to be paid back one way or the other, not necessarily in checks to other people. And so what I see for the United States is, I see Argentina or Venezuela more so than you know, communist China or Russia or somebody, that form of government taking over. So here we are. Draghi speaks at 8:30 Eastern. The rate changes should be out now, and they were expected to be unchanged. So we got volume down here at 33.50, and we definitely have a seller at 34, and that's kind of where we were yesterday. Last rotate up was we left yesterday wanting to sell 85s to 95s, and we had our first buy yesterday in the 50 to 60 areas. So that looks reasonable to me. Let's keep it where we had it yesterday. The buy set up great for those of you that took the trades that live in London. And there's great trading opportunity if you can wake up at 3 o'clock Eastern in the United States. I can't do that. Given everything else that I like to do. Okay, crude was pretty quiet overnight. Not a lot going on there. Tells me that no one really anticipates any supply interruption right now. That can trade with one headline. I mean, that can the trading and everything in that contract can turn on a headline, and we just have to be cognizant of that. So we had a buy 96.50 to 75, and our first sell was 97 1/4, 97.50. And so our 50 to 75 buy worked. We'll leave that intact. And crude trades well out of London too because of Brent, the Brent contract. There's a lot of interest in oil trading in London. The next biggest market out there clockwise is Singapore. A lot of people trade crude in Singapore. Okay, I'm going to give it a little room to the upside, 97.50 to 75, and then 8 1/4. So we got a 97 minus 98 plus market right now, and I imagine that'll probably hold today. Yesterday's numbers were bullish from a demand standpoint. And today we'll have the natural gas numbers. So crude was profitable overnight, as was gold. And the euro, for those of you that took the trades. So London's pretty lucrative. Okay, the E-mini today, the biggest news out overnight, Australian unemployment was at its highest in I forget how many years. And German industrial production was only up 0.3, and they were looking for something north of 1%. So big misses in the economic numbers. Every stock market around the world is lower, except for Japan's. And Japan's got a boost because the Japanese retirement fund, the national, is supposed to increase its ownership in stocks and decrease those in bonds. So there you have it. I see best resistance in the initially at 25, and my guess was they would get stops above the overnight session high and perhaps yesterday's high. So right now we're probing higher and wide. This is not officially the day session in the indexes. So getting stops in this 23 to 25 area. So the first sell, and it's fairly aggressive, is going to be 25 plus or minus, and then 21, 29 to 32 for S2. Jobless claims 305. No one's paid a lot of attention to jobless claims of late, and I think the reason for that is that it really started with the Clintons, and it was continued in the Bush administration, and now under this administration, where there are now political appointees in charge of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it's gotten even worse. So the administration likes numbers that support them and their party. And if you want to keep your job and get promoted and have a shot at the six-figure incomes, you pretty much have to do what the administration says. It's no different in the private world. If you want to progress corporately, you got to keep your nose clean. You got to shake your head yes. You got to support the current management. So I mean, it's just the way life is. So I haven't seen a lot of reaction of the reactions we historically got to jobless claims. It's there, it comes out, but it doesn't have a lasting impact on the market. Okay, our first buy down here is going to be in this 15 to, we're going to lean against volume, 15 to 17. I think the best support is 5 to 10. And then buy 2 will be 1910 plus or minus. And there you have it, folks. The sell against 25, 1925 is a round number. We know there's stops above that. It's aggressive as hell. The sell at 29 to 31 is less so. The best support structurally is 33 to 38. Any questions? Basically see a range trade today in the E-mini. We got to find out where resistance is, and then we'll see if support is 5 to 10 or 10 to 15. It'll take at least 20 minutes to get everything up and around, given the new format, etc. So I'm going to get busy on that, and I will get back to you as fast as I can. In the meantime,